We know customers don't mind getting into an Uber and Lyft if the driver's getting paid very little. But would they get into an Uber and Lyft if they found out that 1 out of every 6 Uber and Lyft vehicles on the road actually have safety recalls that are outright being ignored? Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur, and time to sit down for a moment, and we need to go over a story. A story when Kevin the Apptrepreneur was first starting his Uber and Lyft drive, and how things were different in the good old days. And the way things were different way back when is I remember when I signed up for Uber, they had me go to a Pep Boys AutoZone or Pep Boys or AutoZone and get the car looked at. They did a full-on inspection that cost me $20. And at the end of the inspection, they said, you need new tires or else you cannot drive for Uber. I ended up spending $500 on new tires, really good tires. They approved me, and I got that money back in a couple days because that's how good those darn sons of guns paid me back then. And I was off and going. Then years later, when I went to get the thing re-inspected, you know what they did? All they did was that they looked at the car, they checked the blinkers, the lights, the windows, the AC, made sure that it blew, and then they didn't care. The quality of the car didn't matter. But of course, why would it? They used to pay me like $3 a mile. Now they pay me 60 cents a mile. And now I'm going to stop doing that voice because it's probably getting really, really annoying. But seriously, look at this. 1 in 6 Uber and Lyft cars have open safety recalls, Consumer Reports study suggests. Now the reason I shared that funny story is because, yes, back then when I first started, they did a full inspection of the vehicle. They made me get new tires before they let me drive for Uber. And they also had like a cut up, like your car had to be like just a couple years old. And I remember like as I drove, like the fear of being kicked off the platform because they had a cutoff year. But the more they lower the prices, the more they lower the rates, the faster the drivers leave. They need all the people they can get. So then, hey, you know what? You don't need like a newer vehicle to do this. You can have whatever vehicle you want. And then it's like, oh, criminal record? You can be a Somali war criminal. And yes, I know he was a colonel, but, you know, so far the courts say that he was a war criminal. You know, we could have him driving for us. And now, apparently, we can have cars with open safety recalls on the road. This is what happens when you have a very, very low bar of entry Uber and Lyft. So according to Consumer Reports, among the tens of thousands of Uber and Lyft vehicles registered to operate in New York City, there's a 2011 Hyundai Sonata GLS with 8 unaddressed safety recalls that range from potential seatbelt detachment to even more alarming examples such as possible engine failure. Millions of riders rely on ride-hailing services Uber and Lyft for daily transportation. But according to a Consumer Reports review of data from New York City and the Seattle area, a notable number of ride-hail vehicles registered for Uber and Lyft service, about 1 in 6 carry unaddressed safety defects. Quote, Uber and Lyft are letting down their customers and jeopardizing their trust, says Williams Wallace, a CR safety policy advocate. Uber's website says people can ride with confidence while Lyft promises peace of mind, yet both companies fail to ensure that rideshare cars are free from safety defects that could put passengers at risk. Well, but let's give them a little bit of credit. I mean, you're just as equally liable to get a driver who's a criminal because they don't do a very good background check either. That's just not what Uber and Lyft are here for. Yeah, they say ride with confidence and peace of mind. They're slogans. They don't really care. If people knew what the process looked like, again, the process isn't complicated. Let me walk it through you. At least this was what it was when I did it like a year ago. Or was it 3 months ago? I don't know. Whenever it was. You go up. They look at your vehicle. And my vehicle has like some dings and scratches because people have like, hit my car with their doors or got little fender benders. So my car is like a little beat up at this point. They look, and even though the car is fairly old, they don't think twice about it. They say, okay, step on the brake. Put it in reverse, put it in drive, left blinker, right blinker, emergency blinkers, high beam me, roll down the windows, turn on the AC, feels it, and then it's like, okay, you're good. That's pretty much how the process goes, give or take a step here and there. And if that's the process, trust me, they don't give 2 flying rats behinds that your car might have a safety recall. I mean, you would think since they have a database of cars and they're running it through, they could say, hey, there's there's like a flag here that your car might have a safety recall. Is there? We need to like confirm with someone that you got this fixed. Who can we talk to? A mechanic, a dealership, who? But they don't do that because they don't care, and they're not paying the drivers enough to care. Like if they start, recruiting drivers and they said, oh, by the way, there's a safety recall here. Can you please go to the dealership to get this fixed? That person's not driving for Uber and Lyft. It's not worth it to them to get the car fixed to drive for Uber and Lyft. That's what happens when you have rock bottom pay. So, as Uber and Lyft announced becoming multi-billion-dollar IPOs earlier this year, CR decided to check on the safety of the privately owned vehicles that are key to company operations and are now used by more than 100 million customers. CR reviewed safety records for about 94,000 vehicles registered as operating for the companies in NYC and King County, Washington, home to Seattle. Two major ride-hailing hubs with local governments that require drivers to register vehicles and obtain an additional license to work through regulators. The CR analyst of the data is meant to provide a snapshot of open safety recalls among ride-hailing cars in the industry, but it might not reflect the national market. Oh no, I think it does. I mean, if they're doing it half-baked here, they're doing it half-baked everywhere. We found vehicles with glaring issues that pose serious risks, such as deadly Takata airbags that could hurt or kill the driver or front seat passengers. There were unfixed defects involving the potential for vehicles to catch fire or for engines to lose power entirely. Wow. Boy, that $6 ride sounds like you're getting what you paid for, right? For example, one of 2011 Sonata's open recall notice says engine failure would result in a vehicle stall, increasing the risk of a crash. It's unclear whether any ride-hail customer or driver has been injured because of an issue related to an open safety recall, and the rate of open recalls we found for registered ride-hail vehicles in our investigation is about the same rate estimated for all vehicles on the road. So yeah, in all fairness, there's a lot of people who don't get their safety recalls fixed, and they should. But here's the thing. If that's your personal life, that's your personal life. There's no accountability there except your own. If it's Uber and Lyft should have this information. If they see like, hey, there's a safety recall, they should be doing something to like say, hey, get that thing fixed or get off the road. But they don't because they don't care. But as Uber and Lyft aim to transform daily transportation for consumers, they've taken only minor steps to ensure their drivers get recalls addressed. CR's review found, and that could have unintended consequences for the riding public. Yeah, it could. So here's the main bullet points. About 1 in 6 of the 93,000 vehicles identification numbers associated with ride-hailing vehicles in New York City and King County, the CR examined 15,175, or 16.2%, had one or more open safety recalls. Takata, a number of vehicles have outstanding recalls associated with numerous deaths, such as faulty airbags made by Japanese car parts manufacturers. Takata, problem vehicles. Some vehicles had a significant... Why is it not going down? Sorry, folks. My browser's locking up. Is it? There we go. Problem vehicles. Some vehicles had a significant number of open safety recalls. 25 vehicles in the Seattle area and NYC had at least 5 or more unfixed recalls. On par with all private vehicles, cars older than a decade, because Uber now lets them. Onus on drivers. Uber and Lyft only take minor steps to ensure open recalls are addressed, leaving the onus primarily on drivers, which, sadly, I'm sure if they did force the drivers to take a closer look at it, maybe that would violate the independent contractor. Anyway, this is a very fascinating, by the way, here's what Uber says. I believe this is what Uber. As part of our commitment, we're proactively blocking vehicles with open recalls that include a do not drive notice from the manufacturer or NHTSA from the app until they have taken action on their vehicle. So this might be coming. And Lyft said, Lyft drivers use their personal vehicles to drive on the platform, the same car they use in their daily lives, driving their kids to school or friends around town. Drivers have a strong personal incentive to make sure their car is in a safe operating condition. Yeah, but they don't always do that. So anyway, yeah, this is a pretty long article because it's a Consumer Reports thing, and, that this is not something we need to read all of. We just don't. And everything went white all of a sudden. So, yeah, there we go. Such a glitchy video. I think my browser needs to be checked out. Anyway, here's where I'm going to say. Uber and Lyft should be making this a priority. The fact that Uber seems to be taking it seriously now that there's been a Consumer Reports article, well, that's good. Lyft doesn't seem to be taking any measure. Their response was like, well, look, it's their car and they're using it for their own self, so they've got an incentive to fix it. And it's like, but will they fix it? And the thing is, people are really dumb. You'd be surprised how careless people can be with themselves. Like people who don't wear seatbelts because they just don't want them, people who smoke because they don't care about their bodies, people who eat too much until they realize they need to lose weight. You know, people do dumb things when it comes to themselves. And they might be even less caring for other people. So Uber and Lyft do need to monitor this, especially since they just have to type in the VIN number and find out if there's an open safety recall. And if there is, they just have to tell the driver, say, you got to get this fixed before you're on the road. Why is that so difficult? Well, because that would probably take it would take about 16% of their drivers off the road. And they don't want that. Because as long as there's convenience there, they don't care. If there's a crash, all they have to do is give the same, oh, our thoughts and prayers are with everyone. We're investigating with the police to the fullest extent of the law and what we can do. And then they don't do anything. That's how Uber and Lyft operate. So yeah, this isn't going to get fixed anytime soon. I would be surprised if it ever does. But anyway, I would love to know what you folks think about this. Do you agree with Consumer Reports? Do you agree with Uber? What would you do in this situation? Do you have any vehicles? Are you aware that you have any recalls on your vehicles? Check it out if you don't. Otherwise, comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, or give it a thumbs down if you don't like it, whatever. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, of course, but even so, as $1 a month goes a long way to helping the channel run smoothly, and you get access to my Patreon's exclusive blog. Also, if gas is getting you a little down, check out the Get Upside out below. It's totally free, and you get cash back on every gas purchase. Subscribe to the Apptrepreneur Vlogs channel. We're going to be putting daily content very soon. And if you want to talk to me or other rideshare people, check us out at the Apptrepreneur Hangouts on Facebook. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.